whether he participated in acts that today would be considered barbaric or terrible or awful, I don't know. I don't know if that's exaggerated or it's true, but the reality is, if you compared him to the people in his generation, he was probably one of the better people who helped other people. He sure helped the world by putting America, or putting the New World on the map. Was he the first one to get to the New World? No. Was he one of the first? Maybe not even that. There might have been a lot like in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th century. But was he the first one to make it count? Did he go find the tree that fell in the forest and nobody else did? Yes. And did it become a worldwide sensation because he did? Yes. And did it take massive courage to sail that ocean when at the time it was in doubt that you weren't going to fall off at some point? But Christophorus Columbus, who was born in the Republic of Genoa in Liguria, on the Ligurian Sea, and became a sailor and an expert one as a young man, and obviously had close to a brilliant mind, and a mind that could take on the Biden Easters of his day, the people who told you have to wear a mask and you have to stay in, and you better take a vaccine that now is creating tremendous damage for people. Was he a man who could think his own thoughts and understand that science is not a dictatorial exercise, but an exercise of hypothesis testing and rationality? And yes, after oh my goodness, all kinds of efforts to get someone to sponsor him, even though he was Italian, we think. Many claim him. But even though he was Italian, he was able to convince Queen Isabella I and Ferdinand II of Spain, the Catholic monarchs of Spain, they were described as at the time, to sponsor a journey to the end of the world. He thought he was going to India because he was calculating Marco Polo and Marco Polo coming back from the Indies. That's what he thought he was going to reach. They didn't know about this little obstacle in the way called North and South America, right? And of course, at first, didn't realize that he hadn't reached India. In fact, wasn't that the reason that the Native Americans were called Indians, right? But he didn't discover North America. He discovered originally the islands. His first trip is really quite amazing. He left Castile in August of 1492. 1492, Columbus sails the blue, right? I don't think they teach that anymore. 1492, Columbus hurt people because he was a mean, horrible, terrible person, because America considers him a hero, just like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin. And you wish you had half their talent. You do. Honest, I do. So he arrived in the Bahamas on 12 October 1492, hence the holiday, right? 12 October 1492. He left in August. I calculate a 2-month trip. Wow. That's pretty good, Ted. You've seen replicas of his ship and ships like it, right? Yeah. I don't know how they had any more than about 5 people on that ship. And I don't know how the hell it got through the North Atlantic or the Mid-Atlantic, however he came over. But it did, and a lot of people must have died on the way, and a lot of people taken off on that voyage must have thought they'd never coming back, but they had the guts to do it. Guts, courage, which we lack a lot of right now. So he went there, and he went to the Bahamas, and it was known as Guanahana. That was the name of the place he landed to the natives, to the indigenous population, and then he visited Cuba and Hispaniola. Now, Hispaniola, I think, is where he established a colony on the west coast of Hispaniola, which is known as Haiti. He founded Haiti in reality. On the east coast of Hispaniola is the Dominican Republic, for those of you who know the Caribbean and that area of the world. He returned to Castile with his great conquest for then the most powerful nation on earth. Soon it was going to be England, when they defeated them in the Battle of the Spanish Armada, the sea battle. He returned to Castile in early 1493. So he got there in October of 1492. Sounds like he spent through the new year there. So 4 months, 3 months. Got a lot done in that period of time. He established the Bahamas. He found Cuba and Hispaniola and established a colony called Haiti, all in about 4 months, 5 months, and returned to Castile with his trophy for the king and queen, who then became even more prominent for having been the intelligent ones and the brilliant ones who sponsored him and had the early lead in the New World, which they ultimately lost. But if you think about it, Spain had a tremendous impact, easily as much as England. I mean, you look at South America, with the exception of 1 or 2 countries where Portuguese is spoken. And he almost sailed for Portugal, by the way. I believe he had a contract to sail for Portugal. Might have been very different if he had arrived here for Portugal, but he claimed it for Spain. And whereas I'd say England had the major impact on North America, Spain certainly had the major impact on South America. And he returned 3 times, showing that this guy was not this wasn't a guy who just wanted to be on television and collect his money. And this was a real serious explorer and scientist who, it's a tragedy what they're doing to his reputation, because he then went to the Lesser Antilles in 1493, to Trinidad in 1498, and then the east coast of Central America during taking a little time off in 1502. And of course has become one of the most famous men in the world. And they can take his statue down all the time, but the ones taking it down will never do anything close to what he did. And wherever he is, which hopefully is in heaven, because I think he was a man of his time and a better man than most men of his time, as Thomas Jefferson was. I think he's sitting in heaven and he's looking at this and saying, that country that I helped to find, I mean, it was Americo Vespucci who first labeled America, hence the name America, right? Another Italian. Times are pretty good. Also, as an Italian American who grew up learning about Columbus, because he's one of the heroes of my subculture, I resent greatly what they're doing to him. And I think my fellow Italian Americans, and I think many of my fellow Catholics feel the same way, because he was in fact, for all of his failings, which all of us have, a very loyal Catholic, and with a recognition that Jesus came here to save sinners. Because if we don't think we're sinners, we're just a bunch of arrogant idiots. So now let's get back to the arrogant idiot in the White House who is causing another war. Yes.
Mayor, before we get to that, can you just hold that up and remind folks so that our Getter audience can see that initial story that you opened the show with?
Yeah, this was a protest yesterday in New York it really had a predominantly pro-Israeli group. I'd say about 4-1, both large. But this was a dominant theme, this Nazi they're making no bones about the fact that these people would like to see, you got to understand it and get ready for it, the elimination of the state of Israel, or the elimination of the ancestral home of the Jewish people. That's their goal. And along with it, they teach hatred of Americans. And when we call this a war with Hamas, this would be like describing the Second World War as a war with the Nazi army and not with Germany. Yeah. Or a war with the United States as a war with the United States army and not with the United States. Make no mistake about it. They reflect the views of the vast majority of the Palestinian people who were brought up, those without power, with an ability to develop no other views. They're taught from very young children how to kill Jews. And they're taught the benefits of this world without Jewish people, as are other extremist, radical Islamists, which is why Iran is so favorable to them, because they share with Iran the desire to eliminate Israel, which makes the $6 billion that Biden gave to the country that wants to eliminate Israel completely destructive. I know BB 4, 85, 95, 105, 115, 38 years. Known for 38 years. And it's been a fairly consistent relationship. Not that we see each other every day, sometimes not even every year, but we have not lost contact during that period of time, during the various ups and downs of both of our careers. And we've remained friends during that period. He's under no illusion about this. This is a man like Donald Trump of practicality, not a man of ridiculous, romantic, left-wing sickness, which is very much affected by having been trained in the terribly infiltrated schools with Marxism. This war is Biden's war. This war would not have taken place if Biden didn't give every signal that he really does support the other side. He clearly supports a much less powerful Israel with a lot less to say and a lot more subjugation. What he doesn't realize is that isn't an option. This is a zero-sum game. Either Israel is going to exist or it's not going to exist. The people he's appeasing do not intend to have an Israeli state that they will negotiate with. They intend to eliminate, listen to it now, they intend to eliminate the Jewish people, which is why I showed you the swastika. Hard to get, right? Remember, the group that wants to take over Israel, that whole area, Jerusalem itself, the Islamic population there was allied with Hitler during the Second World War. The anti-Semitism is deep. It just didn't come about now. It predated the state of Israel. The lack of knowledge or the willingness to confront history among the people who guide us is astonishing. It's maybe why we make so many wrong intelligence decisions. Instead of studying history as an objective pursuit, it's studied through the lens at the great universities of Marxism And Marxism, if you read Marx, considers history opportunistic. You use it to further the ends of Marxism. So the first thing you do is you destroy histories that are alien to being able to control the world with a communist economy and philosophy. Destroying the history of a country is de rigueur for communist takeover. Remember the Cultural Revolution. Cultural Revolution was to eliminate the Chinese culture because it was holding people back from giving full adherence to communism. The Red Chinese are not about the Chinese culture. They are about the communist culture. So it's a big distinction, and it's an important one. Now, why is this Biden's war? Because it's a failure of his foreign policy. First of all, and I think I'm going to borrow now from my good friend Miranda Devine, who I wanted to have on radio or with us on television tonight, but she's in London right now, hopefully spreading this wonderful analysis of how Biden caused this. She comes up with 4 points. Or is it 3? 3 points. Okay, 3. 1 is appeasement. 2 is a spy ring. And 3 is the MEK raid. Appeasement means that the U.S. Basically has been appeasing Iran since Obama came into office. And I guess we don't have to go any further than to say the ridiculous agreement that he reached, selling out the world to the reign of terror. And then, of course, the crime that he committed in giving billions of dollars in cash to a terrorist state. And there's only one reason he gave it in cash, and that was because he knew it was going to be used to be given to terrorists. So it's not an unknowing crime. And all this nonsense about which one of the Biden liars, Ted, said that the money is going to be used for humanitarian purposes? Which one of the liars said that? Do we know?
I don't, not off the top of my head. Let's get that up there. Well, Blinken deleted a tweet or some sort of message that called for a truce.
He called for Israel shouldn't respond. In other words, let them kill your people and do nothing about it. You're really smart, jackass. Now, what about some of one of the geniuses around him?
He called for a ceasefire after what
they
Hamas
bombed the living daylights and invaded Israel and killed men, women, and children who were innocent. Yeah, right. That's why I said on September 11 to Bernie Kerik, thank God Al Gore is not the president. And
how are these people in charge?
Please God, why did we get why did you inflict this this test on us of Biden? I mean, I go to bed at night and I pray to God that we get through this. I don't think you realize the damage he's doing. And I'm not being arrogant here. I don't think I realize it completely. I think I realize it better than you do because I've been in government more of my life than anything else. And I'm a very discerning, curious person, so I dig deep into whatever I'm doing. But I'm constantly thinking, what's going to come out of America? I mean, in a million years, I can't understand the decisions that they make that are in the best interest of China and not the United States. This $6 billion to Iran is insane, unless you really hate this country and hate Israel. I mean, I tried to explain it this way. I don't know if I did this on Friday with you guys. I did it on my radio shows. suppose there was a hit on Ted. A group put out a contract to kill Ted for $100,000. And I'm Ted's friend, and I give him 50,000 just for the heck of it. And they tell me they're going to use it for humanitarian purposes. This is a group that wants to kill Ted. And then I say to Ted, I'm your friend. Ted says to me, you're a damn liar. That's what he says. And get away from me, and I'm going to put you in jail. That's what Ted says. Well, this is what Biden did.
That's crazy.
Now, just to show he's guilty, on one side, he gives $6 billion to a terrorist country. And I really don't. Well, never mind. He gave the $6 billion to the terrorist country. And then on the other side, now this terrible attack takes place. And here's his reaction to it. 3 stages. Reaction number 1, he ignores it and stays in bed. Puts out a statement saying Israel should remain peaceful and have a ceasefire, which the squad call for. The anti-Jewish group of congressmen and women that are accepted as an integral part of the Democrat Party and never disciplined. That remains out there for a while. Did we put out our tweet before it was taken down or after it was taken down? Remember, President Trump put out a tweet condemning the attack. And then we put out a tweet condemning the attack and condemning Biden.
Yeah.
I don't know if his tweet was still out or I condemned him for not reacting.
You tweeted before Biden.
Yeah, but after Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said basically it's the $6 billion that caused this, you bum.
Yeah, exactly.
And you haven't even said anything.
And then he came out for 2 minutes.
And then he came out and he put out a statement first. We tweeted before he put out a statement. Then he put out a statement. I don't know if I have it here. It's 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
I should have memorized it. Although who would want to memorize his garbage? The people who write for him are terrible writers anyway. Has he ever given a memorable line? Has he?
No. Name one.
Bidenomics. High inflation. Lower real wages. Yeah, Bidenomics. That's one. I don't have it with me, but it's 3 short paragraphs. That's what Israel's worth. 3 short paragraphs. Iran's worth $6 billion, and Israel's worth 3 short paragraphs. Oh, I'm sorry. After some more criticism, he came out with Blinken helping him to walk, I guess so that he wouldn't go to the wrong microphone or possibly end up in the Chinese embassy or something to make the statement, or maybe, I don't even know if there's a Cuban embassy there. There probably is, because I think communist Obama recognized him. You haven't figured out yet that Obama's a communist? You haven't, you're behind. You're behind your studies. Then he came out and he made a completely inane 2.5-minute statement, which, unless he had the eloquence of John Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and Franklin Roosevelt combined, 2.5 minutes ain't going to do it for your best friend that is now under mortal attack when you've given $6 billion to the people who are helping to organize the attack. And then he wouldn't take a question.
He walked away, shut the door.
He walked away like an arrogant, senile old man because it didn't look like he was going to make it. And Blinken, is like behind him, not knowing what to do if he goes down for the 10 count. Blinken might not be strong enough to lift him up. He looks like a bit of a weakling. Or he certainly acts like a weakling. Well, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to show you how not to be a weakling. The Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. My whole show. What am I on for? I should read it to you. I mean, brilliantly written too. So I'm discussing these 2 articles in the Post that I'm saying I just should have read and gone off the air because they're brilliant. And of course, you know what I think of Miranda Devine, both her abilities as a writer and her courage as a reporter. But I'm going to tell you how you remain strong and you don't become like Tony Blinken. And that is, I don't know why I'm picking on Tony Blinken, but for the fact that he's working for a trader. Fruits, and he has to be a trader because he knows that the man isn't functional. And he sits there and he goes along with it. Plus, he's the one that put out the hit job on me, which is the 51, how can you call them intelligence experts? The 51 traders who said that the hard drive had earmarks of Russian disinformation, right? It had earmarks of nothing. They never even bothered to check. They did it so fast, they didn't even bother to check what it was. So, and it was done in order to set up that debate in which he could accuse me and Trump of being Russian pawns, for which I am now suing him. Will turn out in every state. And I intend to collect a great deal of that money that he's stolen because it should go to justifiable purposes, like to repair the damage he's done to my reputation and, frankly, my finances. So, fruits, vegetables, absolutely needed in your diet. You have got to have fruits and vegetables. You're not having enough. And I say that, and I probably, let me guess, I'm probably right about 90% of you. Even if you have fruits and vegetables, you probably don't have enough. You can't have too many. You're not going to get sick from having too many. I think you have 2 to 4 of these pills a day. Here are my fruits. These are 38 or 39 condensed fruits and vegetables. 1 gram of carbohydrates, 5 calories for the veggies.
That's right. They pack in dozens of fruits and vegetables into those little pills. 10
calories for the vegetables. So think about how fruit, you could end up with a bit of a high calorie count with the fruits, not with the vegetables. But you're only getting 10 out of this, and you're getting more fruit probably than you're gonna eat. It's a perfect blend. Do you want to want me to tell you about some of the fruits? I bet the first one.
Let's stop the fruits.
A lot of you are going to be a little surprised that tomato is a fruit. Tomato, and they do, because I think people are surprised. They have fruit next to it.
Wait.
Tomato is a fruit.
Since when?
Since the beginning of time.
It's a vegetable, though.
Look it up. Just look it up. Everybody gets caught on this.
All right, I'll look
They
that
even
up.
get them. They even get them in some of these contests. They get people.
Tomatoes a fruit?
It's a fruit. Tomato is a fruit. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I believe if you're saying it, Mayor, I'm not going to question your wisdom on this. I consider that looking it up. I was asking you.
Broccoli, spinach, soybean, green cabbage, wheat grass, kale, excellent for you by the cauliflower, celery, white onion, zucchini, garlic, red cabbage. I mean, look at this. Oh my God. I mean, this is packed. This is packed.
So get your Balance of Nature and use that promo code Rudy. Visit balanceofnature.com. That's balanceofnature.com. The website's on the screen.
Watch.
And use the promo code Rudy. And when you use that promo code, you're supporting the show.
Let's get advice on it. Is this the right way to do? Should you take them all once? How can it hurt?
That's 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. 2 fruit pills, 2 vegetable pills. Mayor's taking it live. Join us. We should maybe start making it at the bottom of the hour.
I took 3.
Maybe we'll make 8:30 the Balance of Nature minute.
Okay. All right. So let's go to RFK. And you and I talk about RFK. RFK is going to run as an independent. What a shock to, I don't think I finished Miranda. I got the appeasement part in. With Miranda, but I didn't get the rest in, which is that there has been a discovery of an Iranian spy. Believe it or not, that and we don't know because it's under investigation how much information they got out of this completely inept administration. It makes sense that there'd be an Iranian spy because they're in love with Iran. Absolutely in love with Iran. I mean, they give them $6 billion, which is completely unexplainable other than as a crime. To give $6 billion to a terrorist country is to know that they're going to use it to kill people. When Obama gave it to them in cash, they went ahead and used it to kill Americans under Soleimani, who Trump finally had killed in the last year of his administration. But Soleimani was working on Biden's money for years, killing Americans. Can you imagine an American president giving a country that supports terrorists money that will go to terrorists who will kill Americans? We're now giving him money to a country that wants to eliminate the Jewish people. And yes, they may not use that money to eliminate the Jewish people, but we have indicated that we are a better friend of theirs than we are of Israel, which is a shot in the head to Israel at a very bad time. And also that money can deflect other monies that can be used to kill the people of Israel, and every once in a while, a couple of Americans here and there. How many Americans died now? We've got
at least 11.
100 dead, and 11 are Americans.
No, that over 1,000 dead.
1,000 dead and 11 Americans, right?
At least 11 Americans, and then at least 100 hostages.
100 hostages.
Yes.
Plus.
Yes, and we don't know
if they're Americans.
Some...
Now, I'll tell you about that in a moment, but and just in case anybody buys this garbage about humanitarian purposes, Ibrahim Raisi, known as the Butcher, he's the president of Iran, elected, kind of like the way Biden was elected, president of Iran, told Lester Holt, quote, "This money belongs to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and naturally we will decide to spend it wherever we need it." Like, screw you, whoever the idiot was in the Biden administration that said it was going to be used for humanitarian purposes. But everyone knows that Biden lies about everything. Second thing is, an anti-Israeli Iran envoy who worked for the Biden has just been removed. So his name is Robert Malley. And Malley, the allegation is, helped fund, support, and direct an Iranian intelligence operation designed to influence the United States and allied governments. He helped to infiltrate an Iranian agent of influence into some of the most sensitive positions in the United States government. Is now under investigation. Malley was previously, so he was involved in infiltrating this Iranian-loving administration, the Biden administration, and he previously was part of the Iranian-loving Obama administration, where he was, catch this, the top negotiator on the initial 2015 nuclear sellout with Iran. And he was one of Biden's first actions about when becoming president. That was right after, he did away with the border and he did away with our energy independence, was to name Malley as his special envoy for Iran. And what this did was it just gave Iran access to all of our intelligence capabilities. Well, that's what the investigation is about. Is it a surprise that Biden would sell out to Iran? The question might be easier for the FBI is to investigate the countries that the Bidens have not sold out to. I mean, are there countries they didn't take money from and didn't sell out to? And then, of course, they double-crossed MEK. On June 20th, the Albanian government that previously had hosted the leading anti-reign of terror organization in the world, the MEK, which has a government in exile ready to take over, and which is largely responsible for the protests in Iran, and constantly being harassed by the Iranian-loving State Department, and said to be really meaningless, and they don't have any power, except Raisi, who basically has killed probably more of his own people than anyone. Raisi has taken the position that the MEK should be killed on sight. And the Ayatollah has said that the MEK is the only organization he fears. But our State Department says they're useless. You real? Would you like me to answer the question, who does the State Department work for? The United States or Iran? Under Trump, they work for Iran, except, Trump would rein them in. Now they directly work for Iran because so does Biden. And the statements double-crossing the MEK when the Albanian government raided their headquarters and took a lot of their equipment, which is used to penetrate Iran. I've been there twice. I almost was killed there once. I have to say, the Albanian government was very, very good to me. They prosecuted the people who did it and gave them heavy sentences, whereas in France, they basically traded them. And what happened was made a visit to Albania to visit with the MEK for a New Year's Eve celebration. I'm sorry, a New Year's celebration of their New Year's at the new facility in Albania. And at the border, 4 people were arrested, including an Iranian diplomat with explosives and all the plans for the actual celebration to kill me and to kill Madam Rajavi, who is the head of the MEK, the Mujahideen al-Khalq. That's their Mujahideen al-Khalq is what MEK stands for. And then that June, at a gathering of pretty close to 100,000 people in Paris with speakers like me and Newt Gingrich and Michael Mukasey and the former Prime Minister of England and gosh almighty, I'm going to miss lots of people. Former Senator Torricelli, lots of people, many generals. 4 people were also caught, and they were trying to take that out. They had massive explosives and plans for the facility in France, which is quite a facility. It holds 100,000 people. And they were prosecuted too, but the French did some kind of trade, and I think all of them are out now, ready to go kill somebody. So I'm not in a romantic state about that. You know, not that I get myself all worried about the people that want to kill me. The mafia, you know, wanted to kill me too, and the FARC had a contract out to slit my throat. It may still exist, I don't know. And I've had several fatwas. I would like to get them, so I put them on a wall.
What is it like a?
It's a
decree,
religious,
or is it written
it's
somewhere?
a religious statement from a Islamic terrorist that you should be killed for the faith.
So it's written somewhere out there.
Well,
There's
I don't
something
know if they're all written.
somewhere on a piece of paper.
I think of it as written. I've never seen it. I've just read about it.
So it's reported on and written. So, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's written. I tend to think it is.
I would think you'd think it would be fatwa.
The mafia doesn't write down its contracts. Why would they do it? They like the mafia. You know, that's the thing that people really, when they say that Iran is religious, it's bullshit. Religion. The mullahs are gangsters. They're all. They look like fat mafia gangsters. Who except the mafia gangsters used to take showers. A lot of these guys look like they don't take showers and sleep with the camels. They really are disgusting looking creeps. And they kill Americans left and right. And worse than them are the Americans who give them money. So when Albania double-crossed MEK and raided them and did tremendous damage to them, under the leadership of a guy that I know, Prime Minister Edi Rama, who unfortunately is an intimate of Alex Soros, we did nothing. We did nothing to help them. And 230 of their computers were seized, which obviously contain information helping to destabilize the regime. And of course, needless to say, it's even unthinkable that this administration would be for regime change in Iran, even with the horrible way in which they treat women. But this is an administration that respects women, except doesn't really care when a woman is killed in Iran because a teeny bit of hair is showing. Just a teeny bit of hair is showing. Or stoned for getting pregnant out of wedlock because it's her fault, even if she was raped. I am not telling you tales. That's all true. The MEK, if you go to one of their meetings, has plenty of video of these protests, people holding signs, asking for money, and they'll sell you their organs. That's what we're supporting. Got to make you sad as an American, doesn't it? We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
The year is 2022. Cancel culture is the new normal. Online freedom as we know it has ended. Digital stockades are here. All activity is monitored, stored, and predictively analyzed by a technological cartel. We're being converted into a digital resource, a digital currency to be farmed for metadata and loaded into a computerized combine, blockchained to a social engineering operating system. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Be part of a new technological revolution. Right now, 1,000 test pilots have launched themselves into a new digital frontier, a private network outside of big tech control. New technology with state-of-the-art digital engagement and never-done-before security and privacy features that are now operational. With Quick's digital engagement, entertainment, communication, and commercial exchange will never be the same. We are QUX. Quick's. Advanced pre-release sales are limited to 3,000. Order now by visiting quicks.tv. Get yours now before they sell out. Be part of a brand new online experience that you control.
We're back.
Okay, I'm looking here at I'm looking here at President Trump's speech in Wolfsboro, New Hampshire today, where the president addressed many issues, but took a really good shot at our poor excuse for whatever the hell he is, who, as I said, has so far, he's done two statements, one contradicting the other. The one that's operative is 3 paragraphs, 2.5-minute little talk that was gibberish. Blinken and he took no questions. I don't understand this. What's Blinken doing there? We got to take a question. I guess to help him if he falls down. But as I said, I don't think they should have gotten a bigger guy. I don't think Blinken could help him. And, so far, nobody helps him. The military helped him a little when he fell down in front of every one of our Air Force cadets. That must have been very inspiring for them when the president fell on his face in front of them. It would be terrible and awful, and they'd have felt bad for the president if that was the first time he fell. But I mean, now every time we watch him walk, we're wondering, first of all, is he going in the right direction? Number 2, is he going to fall down? And now, with the way he wanders around the stage, you wonder if he's going to fall, like walk off the stage, just go down. This is the reason you have what's going on in Israel, because there's a leadership vacuum. That's probably the understatement so far of the year, that there's a leadership vacuum. The leadership vacuum hasn't been filled by China yet, because they haven't gotten their act together completely. But it has certainly advanced whatever internal real goals they had for world domination. The year given out a decade ago was 2048. It has to have been accelerated now with the tremendous assistance that Biden has given them by having just abandoned the role. I can't think of anyone that would call up Joe Biden and ask for his advice. Any world leader. Can you imagine? You'd have to be like the dumbest world leader or the most naive, silly kid who became prime minister. Say, I'm going to call President Biden for advice. I mean, you wouldn't have called Joe Biden for advice before he was demented, because he was the stupidest guy in Washington. And if you did, Gates would call you and say, what the hell are you calling him for? He's never made the right decision ever. Do you realize that Gates was warning you? Gotta be, right? Gates is a patriot. He knew how stupid he is, and he knew he shouldn't be president. You don't make a statement. Gates is not a flamboyant guy. He's not a guy who speaks out in that way. I would think that came from somewhere deep, like loving his country and knowing that this guy wanted to be president. I mean, the story is that in 15, 16, when he wanted to run, thinking he was so damn popular, Hillary basically talked him out of it by saying, I never said much about Hunter, but I got the whole story. So, he figured, not worth having it come out because he was going to get beaten. And then in 20, he never would have won if they didn't orchestrate it for him. If Clyburn didn't, he lost the first two primaries in New Hampshire and Iowa, and the way he handled it now, he cancels them. You're not going to be in the New Hampshire primary. He's going to start with South Carolina, so Clyburn can dictate to his voters who to vote for, because the Democrat Party in South Carolina can't possibly really be a Democratic party. It's got to be some kind of authoritarian. Clyburn tells you who to vote for, and 90% vote for him. He told them to vote for a demented man. They voted for a demented man. And then hence they orchestrated the nomination for him, double-crossed Bernie Sanders, who is the biggest whore in the world, because he takes it with a big smile on his face. He takes it up with a big smile on his face. Twice in a row. Hillary completely screwed him. He probably won that thing. Remember that one? The big fat woman, what was her name? Candy, fat lady, who gave her the questions before the debate.
Crazy.
And then she was on Fox for a while. Can you imagine being such a cheat?
Candy Crowley.
I thought her name was Candy Fat Lady. There's a really good reason she's named Candy.
Mayor,
Candy, what are your views on Israel?
Mayor, I'd like to play a clip from President Trump.
Leave now and give the questions to Hillary before the debate, which is perfectly ethical because I work for CNN. Well, do you give the questions to Bernie? Of course not. We're not going to give the questions to Bernie. We want Hillary to win, and we're entitled to decide who wins because we're liberals, and it isn't cheating. We want a woman. We want a woman. We're entitled to have a woman, and it's not cheating if you go for a woman. If you did it for a man, it would be cheating. This is the logic. This does not pass Aristotelian logic and ethics. This is Marxist logic and ethics. Lying bums.
That's right, Mayor. And I want to play this clip from President Trump today in New Hampshire, and then I want to get your reaction and your thoughts on what he says here.
Will I be able to hear it?
New Hampshire have been sold out, ripped off. You've been ripped off by everybody and betrayed by the corrupt globalists, Washington, Wall Street people, those combinations of Washington, Wall Street, they're the worst of all. And it's never been worse than it is now under crooked Joe Biden and, frankly, his boss, Barack Hussein Obama. I think it's his boss.
I like that a lot. I think that really calls him out. People are constantly asking who's making the decision. I think even Democrats now know he's demented. So they're wondering who's making the decisions, I have been convinced for some time that Obama's making the decisions kind of like the chairman of the board, not like the CEO or the chief operating officer. First of all, I think Obama's too lazy for that. Obama once said that, and of course it was covered up. He said it to Barbara Walters in a interview, one of those kiss his backside interviews for Christmas. And isn't that brilliant, Michelle? Oh, Michelle, what colors do you like the best? Purple. Oh, wasn't that brilliant, Michelle? Oh, what an insight. You like purple. What a brilliant woman. And you're so beautiful. You're the most beautiful first lady we've ever had. I don't know. Matter of taste, I think.
Oh, well.
And heck of a patriot, that Michelle, man. Country hadn't done anything right until Obama came along in 2016. That's a long time for doing wrong stuff. That's like a couple of centuries of doing the wrong thing until the prince came along and turned himself into a multi-billionaire.
As a public servant.
Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, he probably kept it a lot more secret than Biden. But how the hell?
He's smarter. You're saying.
I bet you can't find me a person that's not. Well, first of all, being smarter than Biden would not even be.
But Democrats think of Obama as quite the brain, right? So you put those together, okay. Put their love of Obama.
Here's Obama without a. Here's Obama without a. I am very concerned about the attack on civilian Palestinians. Israel should refrain for. I counted once something like 110 in a 2-minute discussion. You take that thing away from him, and ain't much of a brain operating there. I'm sorry, he is not that smart.
But he went to Harvard.
Yes, and we can't find his grades, can we? And he went to Harvard and became head of the law review without writing anything.
He didn't write a review article, right?
He didn't write
He
did not.
How does that?
He wrote that book. I mean, the real question is, did he even read the book?
Have we ever seen his grades?
No.
Well, I forgot. I remember it was racist to ask at the time. You couldn't question his grades because I don't know, whatever reason they gave us, but you weren't allowed to question. Why do you want to know his grades? Are you questioning his grades because of his skin color?
Because he says so much. I mean, what?
No, because
he says so much.
Why don't we get to show?
I mean, I swear to God.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to question.
Or how about he announces on Barbara Walters? She said to him, "Do you have any weakness?" And he says, "I'm lazy." He almost got hit in the head by Michelle when he did it, who then denied that he's lazy because she realized it was a stupid thing to say. And if he were an ordinary politician, that'd have been on the front page of the paper the next day. President says he's lazy. And he was lazy. And but it got buried. Barbara Walters, told me she was shocked that it was buried like that. But of course she buried it with all those communists on The View. The communists, I don't know what they are. They are the angriest. They really are enormously unhappy people. I don't listen to them. I just see the clips. Well, maybe that's the reason, because all I do is see see him as a caricature. I see him when they're
who?
The View.
You see who as a caricature?
The View witches.
The host. Oh yeah, what's her name?
It looks like a group
with the red
witches.
Hair and the.
It looks like a group of witches trying to figure
out Whoopi on there now, and
who are they going to make fun of that day? Or it's like
who are those? I don't even know their names. I only know them because they say something.
Overaged Mean Girls, right? It's like Mean Girls grown up. Some grown up a little too much.
But I had a question though, because
it's like Mean Girls 401.
I don't understand. I don't know the draw. I don't know how that's still a thing. People watch the show enough where it's like a thing. Or maybe they don't. Maybe the media.
Honestly, I don't think we can do to them what we do to CNN. I think they have a very good audience. I think they're one of the big things on
daytime.
I do. At least
I don't get it.
I was shocked when I looked a long time ago. Now maybe it changed. I said to myself, who the heck would listen to this? Even if you're politically on their side, they're so mean. It's like they're making fun of everybody.
Yeah.
And there may be
you're right. Actually, they're like bullies.
There may be somebody there who defends the person.
Maybe.
No, there is. There usually.
Okay.
Maybe they play it out that way.
There was the Republican or
Republican,
right?
The Republican. They Republican is like
Hasselback or something. I don't remember. Yeah. They brought their version of Combs, their version of Alan Combs.
McCain's daughter almost had a breakdown.
But I don't count her as a Republican.
Come on, you have to.
As a Republican?
Well, yeah, she's a Republican. She's
not
just
a moderate.
bitter. She's bitter about her treatment of her father, I think. But in any event, they beat her off and basically put her in depression, I think. But they used to beat the crap out of her.
Yeah, but I'll give her credit. She did good.
No, she
held her own. Or I must have,
I mean, and they did pretty well with her because she was
anti-Trump.
She's pro-Republican, anti-Trump.
You wouldn't be on the show if you were pro-Trump, right? I don't think anybody could have been pro-Trump.
Hasselback was.
Is she on the show now?
No, Hasselback went to Fox. Remember?
Is her last name? I know Hasselback, the quarterback.
The quarterback.
Is that the same family, wife or something?
His wife.
Okay, I figured.
Elizabeth Hasselback. You see, you don't remember her? She's only about 8 years
I never watched the show, Mayor. I never watched.
She was on Fox.
But I said the last name. I remember
but she
Hasselback.
was on Fox and Friends.
Okay,
that was a big move. One of the things I think that catapulted Fox and Friends. I mean, Fox and Friends, I always kind of liked, but it was always getting beaten by the.
Before 2015, I used to watch CNN and MSNBC. I watched Morning Joe before 2015.
Since Morning
you were
Joe,
on there. You'd go on there.
Not after he turned on.
I'm
Trump.
talking before 2015.
I mean, it could be a fist fight.
I know, but before 2015, I remember watching and seeing you on there.
He is freaking sick.
Well, yeah. Well, they liked Trump too early on, and then something happened.
They're sick, and they say the stupidest things. I mean,
well, now I can't watch it. I don't watch it at all. Well, he started doing the musician thing
he's
too.
He's supposed to be the brains.
Ooh. Wow. I love President Trump went in on him, and it was fun. It was pretty good.
You don't know what President Trump thinks of him.
Oh, he's kind of said it publicly. I don't know if we should go there, but
no, I will never. I will never say whatever he says. He can say. I'm never going to. Tell you.
No, publicly, I'm saying what he said publicly.
He says publicly.
He has said publicly things about Joe.
He says publicly pretty much what he says privately. You know that.
Yeah, I do. That's a good point.
Yeah, you've seen him enough to know that there isn't too much of a filter there.
Well, he's so right. I mean, my goodness.
With that guy? Come on.
Would this be happening in Ukraine and Israel? Would this be happening if that guy was in office?
None of it would be happening. Well,
that's so sad.
We are going to take a break and get ready for tomorrow. We'll be on WABCradio.com at 3:00. And then we will be here tomorrow at 8:00 tomorrow night. We'll be, whatever here is for you. Is here Twitter? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Twitch? Is it Rumble Gumble? Or is it Getter? Or QUX, which is growing by leaps and bounds. Get one. Get one. It's the future, my friends. Save a lot of money. Plenty of protection. They're not going to know. I mean, I sometimes when they send me these things on, I don't know, I don't have my phone here, but you take a look. They look at your history of what of I guess what you buy or look at or like. I gotta see what they're pitching to me now, right this minute. Let's see. A jewelry making. I don't know why I'm getting that. Quick release keychain with a clip multi-tool. How about weights? Weights. I don't know why that. I must have gotten some exercise equipment. Almost looks like handcuffs. This probably came from when I went to jail and got arrested. Handcuffs. I think they want me to buy handcuffs. A lot of keychains. They must know that I need a keychain, but who would know that? I actually need a keychain. I wonder if they have like little Snoopy things around. The only way you'd know I needed a key, well, you'd know I needed a keychain if you watch me open the door with just a key. You'd know it if you were monitoring my bedroom and my bureau where I put my key. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out their a digital voice recorder they're recommending for me, Tentacle Sync Track E pocket audio recorder, only with time code support. I don't understand any of that. Do you?
I would have to really look at that.
Tentacle Sync audio recorder with time code. So they're big on audio recorders for me. Here we are back again with keychains, microphones. Well, you know that microphones. I buy equipment from them that we use.
You know what you recommended? What part of the show are we at now? You're going through
color voice recording buttons. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be back, and we will be hopefully able to talk about Israel getting the upper hand and starting to destroy the terrorists, because the answer here is destruction. How? Tell me how you negotiate with people who want to kill you. You're just putting off their killing you. This group of people is dedicated to the destruction of the state of Israel. So God bless the state of Israel. God bless the United States. And we'll be back tomorrow night. And you have a great evening. God bless you. Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given